Okay. So now we're going to take a short dive into the Focus Master, the first part of it, called the Focus Plan. And you should have one. It should be a one page from your particular organization. You should have it by the time you're taking this training. And it should look something like this. And the reality is that it is almost everything that is important to that organization carefully and succinctly spelled out on a one-page document. Now, maybe everything is an exaggeration, but you should get a clear idea of what this organization is about from this document. And getting to this document is the first part. It's called the focus plan. So let's take a look at where this is in the system. If we look under Active Arena, because we're talking about the organization, there's a tab for focus plan, or of course a menu drop down for it also. And on this focus plan, there are focus points. Every one of these, it has its own yellow button for an explanation, but we need to know the purpose of the company. And you probably have seen a short, fast overview of this, and I'm not really going to take that much more time with it because it's in here, and it's incredibly important. It's not terribly difficult to understand. Okay, so you have your purpose, you have your core values, and remember, we're only having 3 core values. You can have other things you want to talk about a little bit, but let's get it all on one page. And there's only 3 that really matter. If you go over 3, you're just listing things and none of them, if everything's important, nothing is important. All right. The vision, exactly what you do, and more companies are adding into this what they do not do, which is very, very important. I think so. It defines, there's certain things that say, hold it, we don't do that, because we all run into temptations to do more than we should. Right? Your strategy. It's a 3-point strategy. All right. And you need to pick, these are the 3 things we're going to do to succeed. And now these are going to change a little more often. Okay, the purpose will almost never change. The values will almost never change. The vision will change because you should be accomplishing that every 12 to 36 months. What exactly you do, that could change over time because, we grow and we change. The strategy, it will change. It'll change slowly. This is not something that should change every quarter. It might change a little every year. It might change. Your strategy might shift a lot over a 5-year period, but it's going to be somewhat slow. Okay. Now, your 3 most important key performance indicators. This is where we say this is what we measure, what matters. All right. For your whole organization, ideally, you have one. Or if you can do it, where you can say, if we do this one thing, we will be successful. And ideally, it is not a financial measurement. It is something else. But financial measurements seem to be quite popular. And maybe it's because that's what we think about as an end result, which is true. But it's not necessarily, and ideally, it would not be. Okay. You can have one is ideal, no more than 3. If you're measuring more than 3 things for your whole organization to be successful, you're not at a high enough level. Now, you may be implementing this system for just a department, and that department has one measure, but that's what we're looking for, is to keep it simple. This is how we measure success. All right. And then there's this, what's most important right now. You see, we all need, personally, actually, and as an organization, we need to focus. We can't do everything all the time. You need to say, this is what we're doing right now. Okay? This is the most important, and build a theme about it. Have fun with it if you can. That's, but everything. Now, when you decide this will become a KPI. And it'll be, or a project, I should say, most likely a project. It could be a KPI that gets elevated to what's most important right now. Entirely possible. KPI, by the way, means key performance indicator. But you only have one. I call it a critical focus initiative, CFI. All right. So, but you need to choose one and you need to stick with it. And when you do this, every time you have a meeting, it'll list the initiatives that that meeting is connected to and the critical focus initiative. It gets listed every time for every meeting so that everybody knows this is the most important thing we're working on right now. And then the last thing is the actions. What are you going to do to accomplish what's most important right now? Um, these last three, they turn into your KPIs and projects and milestones. That's what they are. And when the first several are well thought out, and then you decide what's most important now, everything falls into place. Okay. All right. So that is the focus plan. And then you take those items and you plug it into this, and you can download a blank one of these, but your organization should take care of this, and you should be holding one of these in your hand. And it may not have a lot of detail on this. What do we need to do right now? Because that's where your initiatives and projects come from. Okay, but it should have something in there, and you should be able to figure out what the grand scheme is. All right, so that is the focus plan.